cleaners, Dalton here, and welcome back to another video tutorial. You should now be familiar with several different paid advertising methods that we use for lead generation purposes. By using these paid and organic approaches, we have customers contacting us if they're interested in our cleaning services. Now, the strategy I'm about to show you is the other way around. It's called cold outreach because we're messaging others who have probably never even heard of us before. They are the opposite of a warm lead, hence the name cold outreach. Some people love this strategy while others don't. What you need to know is that it works if you are willing to put in the time and effort. You will get rejected a lot, but that's okay. It's another way to connect us with new paying customers that otherwise would have probably never contacted us in the first place. Now, there are a lot of different methods of cold outreach that are at your disposal. You've probably already heard of cold calling, but you may not know that we can also scrape data online and then craft text messages and email sequences to send to a list of scraped contacts. For example, if I wanted to scrape a list of realtors in my area, I could go to D7 Lead Finder and search for the keyword realtors. I will then get a list of realtors in my search area, including their name, email, phone number, and any other information that was found during the scraping process. I can then download that list and then upload it to CleanCore and send out an email or a sequence of emails and text messages to those contacts in the form of a campaign. I'll likely get a lot of people opting out or telling me to get lost. That's putting it nicely. But I could also get some who want to know more about our cleaning services and want to talk pricing. Connections like this could lead to an amazing partnership opportunity that benefits both parties and could easily be responsible for taking a brand new cleaning company to six figures and beyond. We've seen it happen multiple times. One relationship with a realtor or property management company leads to another, and before you know it, you're flooded with move-out cleans and you didn't have to spend a penny on advertising platforms like Google to make that connection. Of course, it doesn't always happen, but if you're consistent, I promise you, you will uncover new opportunities this way. Now let's go through this entire process together. All right, here we are inside of a demo CleanCore account, and you can see a bunch of just test contacts that we've uploaded a while back. And before we add any of these contacts to the workflow for this cold email outreach, we first need to create the workflow that's going to be used during the cold outreach process. So let's get started and do that first. We're going to go to automation, and in the workflow builder, I'm going to add a new workflow here in the marketing tab. So we're going to click create new workflow. There's some recipes here, but I always like to start from scratch. Click that and then click the green button up here to get started. And let's give this workflow a name. Let's call it cold outreach, property managers. This is our trigger and these are our actions. Now for this one, this is just going to be, scraping emails, scraping data, and then uploading them and adding them to this workflow. So there doesn't really need to be a trigger, either internal or external. We have all of these trigger options in here. For example, if someone submits a form or submits a survey, or maybe, they change stages in the pipeline. These are called internal triggers. We're not going to use any trigger for this actually. We're just going to get started by creating our emails. So we're just going to do a plain text email. We can put whatever we want here on the right-hand side in terms of like, what's the from name? I recommend, using your name for this, for example. So we'll go ahead and just put my name in there like so. From email, I can specify what email I want this coming from. So I'm just going to use a custom value for this and say whatever email is tied to my account email. You can see that pulls through as location.email. And then the subject. So for this one, I've got some just pre-configured little subjects and email body copies over here that we're just going to use to speed up the process a little bit. But please remember, this is just a test. So we have cleaning services for property management companies, pretty targeted, not really a crazy hook there, but it's okay, because we're just using this as an example. Now we need the body copy that, and we're just going to paste that right down here in the body section. Now I'm going to paste that in there. And so there we go. There's the copy. Now we could, change the appearance of this just a little bit. For example, splitting these lines apart. Are you interested in learning more about our cleaning packages for property managers? So if you had their information, like a first name, last name, anything like that, you could do something like, hey or hi, contact, first name. if I was on the list, right, and you scraped my information, this would say, hey, Dalton, comma, we're looking to partner with a few reputable property management companies in the area, and your name came up as a potential partner. Are you interested in learning more about our cleaning packages for property managers? You could take it a step further and then say, you know, like, let me know with a quick yes or no. And then you can say like, you know, thanks, and then put a signature in here, Dalton Owsley. You could put in things like your phone number. You could put in your main email. We don't want to include links in here. Like if you try to drop a link to your website, for example, that could get you in a lot of trouble. Trouble just by meaning like it could send all of your emails straight to spam. And that's really ineffective because nobody's going to see them, right? So we don't want them going to spam. We want them going to inbox. Good practice is to, you know, give them a way to opt out, force a response. If they're responding back, no, stop, take me off your list, F off, you know, whatever they're responding back. The fact that they are responding back to our email is actually good. That sends positive signals to the email gods, so to speak. It really helps our efforts. So don't put links, but you can do things like put in your phone number, for example. That usually doesn't cause too much harm. So you could do that. And then you could put in, like I said, your email. You know, this could be like info@your company or your direct email, dalton@myemail.com, for example. You could put that in there. Even though the email that we're sending from is sending from an SMTP service, not directly from our email. If they wanted to email us directly, they'll just be able to click here or just copy and paste this email and send us our email directly. So that's actually pretty cool too. So I would recommend doing this instead of, you know, putting like a website link on here, so to speak. But we could do some sort of a footer just like that. And then we could even take it a step further and add a few spaces. And then right here, you don't want to change the way you receive these emails. You can unsubscribe, right? Or instead of saying that, you could easily have another opt-out, right? You know, simply reply out, and I'll have my team remove your contact info from our list of potential partners. I really want to elicit a response, whether it's positive or negative. And so this is going to help us do that. Now we can just click save. And there's our first email. Now I do like to be a little organized. So, you know, I would call this one like initial email. You don't have to do this, but I just like to do it to stay organized so I can see from a visuals perspective, like what this email or text message is about and so on. So now what we would do is we could create a wait step. So you don't want to like do too many follow-ups with cold email outreach. You know, a little bit of follow-up is okay, but you don't want to get crazy with this. Whereas if someone opted into your service and requested more information, then, you know, you have a green light to follow up with them a little bit more intensely. But for this one, we're going to keep it real light. So we're just going to wait for, let's wait 2 days, happy medium between 1 and 3. We're going to change this to days, increase that to 2. And you can actually, you know, mess around with the window. So right here, I flip the switch for advanced window, and I can tell Clean Core when and when not to send this. So for example, if I did not want them to be sent on Mondays, I could uncheck that right there. And right here, you can see it defaults from 9 to 5. I could leave it at that, or I could change it to just mornings or just evenings. The point is you have some advanced functionality here inside of Clean Core if you want it. So I'm going to save that action. And the next one is going to be another email. And so this one is going to be follow up 1 from name. It's going to put me in there again. Account, email, and you can get creative with this. Again, remember, this is just an example. I'm going to paste in the subject there, and then the body copy that we have for this one is just going to say, just bumping this up to the top of your inbox. I'm sure you're busy, but if you could get back to me, that would be great. I'm happy to provide you with our pricing list if you're interested in a professional cleaning solution for your company. We are trying to catch their attention, saying that we understand you're busy, and then telling them we offer professional cleaning services for your company. And then of course we could copy that same signature that we have in the first email up here and then just paste it down. If you want to do that, save it first and then click on this one and just copy pretty much everything from here down. Go back to this one, paste. So there we go. Kind of speed up your workflow a little bit more. You can click save. Don't forget to, from time to time, click the save button up here at the very top right that you're looking at. Oh man, I've done some intense work in here and then my computer crashes, or there's something messes up with Clean Core. So make sure you're periodically saving. So there we go. That's locked in. And before you want to go live, again, you need to make sure you publish this. So I'm going to go ahead and flip that switch and click save one more time, just so that when we're ready to use this, we can start using it. All right, so now let's just do one more. Let's add one more wait step in here. And we're going to wait 3 days this time. And we're going to add in, same thing as before, an email. You could do text messages too. Text messages cost some money. Emails do too, but emails are way cheaper. So if you have good text data, maybe you send them a text. But just understand that if you're sending this to a list of 1,000 or 5,000 people, which, I mean, that's kind of a lot. You likely won't have that many property management companies in your area. But if you send it to a list of like 1,000, it can definitely rack up. But text messages are a great way to get a hold of people. You can also add them to a call list here inside of Clean Core and have some VAs doing some cold calling efforts. That historically works very well. So just keep that in mind. I'm showing you emails here, but you could get creative with this. Do voicemail drops, add them to call lists for your cold calling outreach efforts. Again, get creative and don't just think that this is the only way to go about doing this process. So we're adding in our last email here, and we're going to call this one the breakup. Same thing from me. From my email, I could type in like no reply, but obviously we wouldn't want to do that here, but you could just type in something, like outreach@mycompany.com. You could do that. Just be careful with that. I like to keep it real, and I like to send it from like a real email, for example. So we're going to do the same thing that we've been doing, which is just sending it from the account email. In the subject for this one that I came up with for this example is pretty simple. It's just going to say goodbye for now. And then the body copy, let me go ahead and paste that. All right. I don't want to bother you if you're not interested in our services, so this will be my last email for a while because we might reach out to them again in the future. If you ever find yourself in need of a reputable cleaning company that can help out with your turnovers, I would appreciate it if you kept our contact info handy. And again, you can paste in the same email footer with the opt-out instructions if they're interested. Once you click save at the bottom, again, make sure you do it up here at the top right. And now that we have just a very basic cold outreach workflow set up for property managers, now we need to go scrape some data and get some emails and then clean those emails before we add them to our Clean Core account. Let's go into that process now. I have D7 Lead Finder. Again, I'll leave links to everything below this video for you. But we have D7 Lead Finder pulled up. There are other solutions out there. I'll link a couple other solutions for you below this video if you're interested. This is definitely not the only one, but it's the one that I want to use for example purposes. And for right here, and for D7, they allow us to enter a keyword and choose a city. Now the keywords are somewhat limited, but pretty much all scrapers out of the box are limited in some capacity. But for right now, I'm going to, let's see if they have property managers, and they do. So there's property maintenance and property management. I'm going to select this one. You can see from the dropdown, there's some really great opportunities to get data for other businesses. So you could do B2B outreach for like partnerships as an example, which you'll learn more about in another video. But we're going to stick to this one right now. And for the city, I'm just going to start typing in Denver. And there it is, Denver, Colorado. Click Get Leads. So now this might take a while. You can see the estimated time they're giving us is somewhere between 3 and 4 minutes. And that's okay because it's doing this real time. It's going through and scraping data from different sources. This could be like for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Yellow Pages. I mean, the list goes on. Wherever they get this data from, they're currently scraping through that right now and building a list for you. I'm going to actually just exit out of this because I'm not going to sit here and wait for this list. We're just going to use the test contacts in our clean core account and pretend that that was a list that we scraped here on D7 Lead Finder. Let's exit out of that. And let's go to the next step, which is cleaning these emails. I'm going to leave a link to this below, but this is a service called Zero Bounce, and they are going to validate the emails that we just scraped. So I believe we've talked about it before. Just so you know, if you send cold emails to an invalid email, that's going to bounce back. It's undeliverable. And that's actually going to hurt your sending score and hurt your overall email performance. It's a very quick way to get put in the spam box or promotions or some other folder in which they're never going to see it, right? So to avoid that, we need to make sure that the emails that we have in our system are legit. They are accurate, current, active emails. So we need to scrape this. If you do not do this part, you think, oh, it'll be fine, and you just bypass this step, you will find yourself with a very unsuccessful cold outreach campaign. And nobody wants that, right? So in other words, make sure once you get your emails to do this step here, which is now cleaning your emails. So you're just going to go here, try it for free, set up your account, and they're really good about walking you through the process. So once you set up your account here, you're just going to be able to upload that list of that CSV file of context that you have, and they're going to clean it. It's pretty affordable. You know, it's really not that much money. And remember, one relationship with a property management company, a realtor, a partnership, anything like that could quickly take you to six figures or multi six figures with just one relationship. So it is highly worth it, in my opinion, to go ahead and just do this the right way from the beginning. After you have this clean list, let's keep moving on. Let's just assume that now we have our clean list. We're going to import it to our clean core account. So back here, we're going to get out of workflows and we're going to go to the contacts tab right here. Now this is where we started out. This is just a list of test data. These aren't even real people, or if they are, then they probably get a lot of junk over time because this was just found on Google search for like 50, 100 test contacts. In this case, I think we got 500 test contacts. But anyways, the point is now we can take this list of test contacts and add them to the workflow that we created in the beginning. So how do we do that? One thing, what if you don't have the contacts already in here? Well, it's super simple. All you're going to do is come up here and click this button. This is the import contacts button. You can just drag and drop your CSV file right here, or click the upload a file button right here. Select that CSV file, match the fields. So, you know, first name, last name, phone, email. Any unmatched fields that you don't want to bring over into Clean Core, you don't have to check those. You can just leave them. Don't import unmatched fields or something like that. Then you can click next. And once you have it imported, you can actually add them to a workflow right there, but I'm going to cancel out of it and show you how to do it from right here. So once we have our filtered data in here, then next thing to do, and remember, you're not sending this to all contacts. We're only sending this to the imported list. Next thing we want to do is add them to a workflow. So this little robot icon here is add to campaign or workflow. Once we select that, we'll click proceed. And now we select the campaign or workflow. We're going to select the one that we just created, which was this one right here, cold outreach for property managers. So now we can add them all at once, at a scheduled time, or in drip mode. I highly recommend that you add them in drip mode. So not all at once, in other words. You know, this is just test action. You have to put something in here. It doesn't really matter. Now, when do we want this to start? Let's start this on the 10th. At 3:27 p.m. That's totally fine. Batch quantity depends on the size of our list. If we have 50, maybe we don't even send them in drip mode. Maybe we just send them all at once. But if we have 1,050 contacts, maybe we want to send them in a batch quantity of 200 at a time. And again, if we get, like, best case scenario, we get a ton of positive responses. We're like, yeah, sure, send me your pricing list. Yeah, let's book a call. They call your company. Let's chat. And now you have a couple relationships started with some cleanings on the calendar. Maybe you want to pause this campaign later because you physically can't take on any more work. Now that's just best case scenario, of course. Like, we would all love that to happen, right? But the point is, sending them in batches is a good thing. If you notice that the response rate is just super poor, you could switch up the verbiage. And now the next 200 will get the new verbiage, the new emails, instead of the old ones. So just some thoughts to get the wheels turning in your head here. Repeat every one day. You could also repeat this every hour, every minute, every second. but we're just going to do 200 a day. We're not going to send these on Sunday, but maybe we could leave Saturday, but let's just take it off for this example. We'll send on Monday through Friday, and only from, because we don't want them getting emails at odd hours, maybe at 7:30 or 8 a.m. and end at 5 p.m. You could just constrict this to morning times only or evening times. Again, test, test, test. We'll do 6 p.m. And then now we'll do add to campaign or workflow. Now, I'm not actually going to click this button because if any of these emails are real emails, I don't want them coming back and being like, what the heck? And I don't know if these emails are clean or not because we just downloaded them from the internet for demo purposes only. So instead of burning the email sending domain tied to this demo account, I'm not going to do that right now because these emails have not been cleaned and verified. But this is what you'll do to basically activate this. I'm going to cancel out of that. Now at this point, once it's live, you're just going to wait for positive responses. You're going to be getting a lot of people saying like out, stop, F off, take me off your list, go to where. Not always with like B2B, like businesses. A lot of them won't do it, but some of them will. But definitely if you're doing cold outreach to like just individuals, you'll see some interesting stuff in there. Don't let it get to you because it really doesn't matter. We're really looking for, out of, let's just say 1,000 people, if we get 1 to 5, just a small handful of positive responses, that can open up some amazing doors for us. Just remember why you're doing this in the first place, but you're going to wait for positive responses to come in. They'll come in here to the conversations tab. And you can see we have no unread conversations here, but they're going to start funneling in here as people respond to emails. You will get some people, hopefully, that respond back. Yeah, sure. Yes. Send me your pricing. Sure. Let's chat. Or then maybe they ask you a question, but those are all responses. And any negative responses, you can just mark them as read, get them out of there. And any positive responses, you want to immediately respond back to them. You can use the email here, just write an email inside of CleanCore. Or what I would recommend, you could also just send it from your professional email. Copy and paste the email from CleanCore over into your Google account or Outlook or whatever you use. Send them an email and say, hey, this is so-and-so. I saw that you responded back to one of our outreach efforts. You're looking for new partners in the area. Would love to chat with you. Here's our pricing list. Let me know when we can set up a call or something like that. And that's how it's done. Simply wait for the positive responses to come back in. Well, there you have it. Not so bad, right? As I said, this is a great way to connect with other businesses in the area who could benefit from your cleaning services. Real quick, I want to give you some pointers. First, don't send links. That's a great way to end up in the spam folder. Number 2, try to use open-ended questions. We want them to say yes or no. Tip number 3, send in batches, not all at once. If we try to upload a list of 1,000 contacts and send them all at once, there's a chance we could burn that email sending domain and all of our emails will just go into spam. And the last tip I want to give you here, try not to damage your email sending server built into CleanCore. By not sending spam and by following these guidelines, you should be good to go. That said, it's almost impossible not to end up in spam from time to time. I've seen even Google's emails wind up in my spam folder, which is kind of funny. Now, let's talk about who you could potentially reach out to. This is not a complete list, but some of the most popular audiences include realtors, property management companies, construction companies, car dealerships, healthcare companies, fitness centers, and co-working spaces. Well, I hope this video gave you some insight into the world of cold outreach. Use it to grow your customer base along with the other methods taught in this program. As always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.